Hundreds of people gathered at the Rock Island Arsenal to remember everyone who lost their lives in the attack and the war on terror since. KWQC's Danielle McCarthy shows us what the memorial meant to everyone there.
At the center of Thursday's Memorial Walk on Arsenal Island is the American flag.
It's important that they remember those flags represent people. I mean, this is not just some day where some buildings collapse. These are American people that died for their country.
Hundreds of soldiers and civilians carried bundles of those flags, each one representing a life lost on this day 13 years ago and in the war on terror since. For some at the memorial, the symbolism is deeply personal.
They were good guys, every one of them, believed in what we were doing, knew what we were doing was right.
As the walkers return and begin planting the flags in a field, Sergeant Dave Wirtz is thinking of his 5 friends who were killed while they were serving in Iraq together in 2004 and 2005.
They're missed greatly. You know, it's one of the things that we sign up to do. We know signing up that there's a chance that we could go somewhere and not come back.
For all those fallen heroes, this tribute now stands in the field next to the Twin Towers Memorial. The flags forming towers of their own, too. In all, there are 9,777 flags planted here near the Twin Towers Memorial at the Rock Island Arsenal. Soldiers and civilians alike say when they think about what each one represents, it's overwhelming.
It actually makes me think of each person that lost their life.
And those flags are a symbol of all the people that went to work one day thinking nothing was going to happen and never came home that night.
In the memorial's 5th year, those gathered at the Arsenal say it's just as significant as ever. A reminder to all those lost they are not alone and will never be forgotten. On Arsenal Island, Danielle McCarthy, KWQC TV6 News.
Then this afternoon, community members and leaders from the Arsenal gathered for a memorial service, remembering those who lost their lives during the attacks 13 years ago. A wreath ceremony and the playing of taps serving as a somber reminder of that day. Officials say it's important to remember what happened on that day and how we came together as a nation because of it.
Good morning. You can see all the flags for the walk are lined up right here on this table. One for the 9,777 Americans who have been killed either in the attacks on September 11th, 2001 and in the war on terror that's been going on since. So this walk is about to get underway right here. And I'm with Sergeant Kevin Hobson, who's going to be participating in this walk today. Now, you know, there's some activity going behind us this morning, and kind of explain to us what's happening right now and what's about to happen with this memorial walk.
So what we do for September 11th is we get most of the soldiers here on the installation and civilians as well, and we take a bundle of flags and we take a route through the national cemetery that we have. And so at the cemetery is actually soldiers that have died, you know, fighting in the war on terrorism. And so it's kind of a chance to walk and remember those that have fallen. And once we come back, we have a 9/11 memorial that we actually plant those flags. And just, it's kind of remembrance of, there we have the police out here, we have the firefighters, just to remember why we're here and why we remember today.
Yeah, obviously that's what today is all about. So once people see all those flags planted out in the field by the Twin Towers Memorial here, you know, whether they're seeing it on TV or here in person, what do you hope they take away from that?
Well, when they see those flags, it's important that they remember those flags represent people. I mean, this is not just some day where some buildings collapse. These are American people that died for their country, and it's just important to remember their sacrifice and those that have fallen.
Thank you so much, Sergeant. We appreciate it. And there's also going to be a remembrance ceremony that starts at 2 o'clock this afternoon. And again, the walk is about to get underway here. We'll check back in with you guys shortly and show you some of that happening as well. Reporting live at the Rock Island Arsenal, Danielle McCarthy, KWQC TV6 News. That's right, David, and it's going to start at 6:30 this morning. All the flags are already here lined up, ready to go. There's about 10,000 of them. Just kind of take some time to take that number in, because that's what represents all of the Americans who have died in the September 11th attacks in 2001 and in the war on terror that's been ongoing since then. Now, I'm here right now with Major General Kevin O'Connell. He's going to be taking part in this ceremony and the memorial walk today. Good morning, General.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. And tell me, what does this memorial walk this morning mean to you personally?
Well, to me personally, it's a remembrance, as you said, of the innocent lives lost in the attacks on the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, the hijacked planes that went down in Shanksville. And personally, to me, it's a remembrance of those innocent people and first responders, firefighters, and policemen that lost their lives on that day, but also all the people lost in combat operations since then, whether they're airmen, soldiers, sailors, Marines, Coast Guardsmen, or Department of Army civilians. So it's personal in that we all know somebody that has either been killed in 9/11 or since then in the war on terrorism.
Yeah, it's definitely touched all of our lives. Now, looking back, this is something we've been talking about today. Where were you on this day in 2001?
I was at Fort Irwin, California, the National Training Center where I was stationed, and it was PT time in the morning, and we knew very quickly that our lives were changing. And then Fort Irwin became the place where we trained units to go to operations in Afghanistan and Iraq in the next years after that.
Yeah, obviously this has made a huge impact on everyone's life, and the ceremony, the remembrance today, it's going to continue later on this afternoon with a remembrance ceremony that starts at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Reporting live on the Rock Island Arsenal, Danielle McCarthy, KWQC TV6 News. Yeah, Morgan, and you can see all of these American flags right here. There's about 10,000 of them that they're going to have lined up, bundled up right here, that all of the walkers, about 500 or so walkers, are going to carry as they go on this memorial walk this morning. Now, right here, I'm with someone who's going to be participating in this walk. He's been unloading these flags, busy with that this morning. This is Sergeant First Class Derek Dupree. Now, Sergeant, this has been going on here at the Arsenal for about 4 years now.
Yes.
Why is it important to keep this tradition going?
Well, it's important because it shows that, you know, that America has not forgotten that tragic day. They haven't forgotten the events that took place that day. And we feel that it's important for us to support this event, not only just the personnel that work on the Arsenal, but the personnel that work off the Arsenal. It's a beautiful thing to see, you know, the ones that work off the Arsenal come together and support this event and show their support to our country.
So then once all these flags are lined up, you know, 9,777 of them representing all of these Americans who have died either in the attacks on September 11th, 2001 or in the war on terror since. When you see all these flags lined up afterward in the field right where we're standing, you know, what kind of emotions does that stir up in you and, you know, some of the other people who you're going to be here with this morning?
Well, for me, it's kind of mixed emotions. Like I said before, you know, it's a day that we want to remember, and it's a very sad and tragic day, but also it's also a day that, you know, Americans can come together and we can be united as one the way it was intended to be. I remember when these events first happened, and it was a shock to everyone, and of course it's a sad event. And, you know, a lot of people have lost lives because of this one particular event. So it's really hard, you know, knowing that your brothers and sisters in arms have lost their lives because of this event, but also it's rewarding to know that, you know, we give the ultimate sacrifice for our country.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Sergeant Dupree, for joining us this morning. We really appreciate it. Obviously, it's going to be a very emotional morning here at the Arsenal. And along with the memorial walk this morning, there's also going to be a remembrance ceremony that starts at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Reporting in Rock Island, Danielle McCarthy, KWQC TV6 News. Yeah, David, right here, obviously a very appropriate start and end point. You can see the symbols of the two towers right here behind me. The Pentagon is down there as well. Gold Star on the one tower representing all of the Gold Star families who have lost loved ones in the war on terror. Blue Star representing all of the families who have loved ones who are still serving today. Now, right now I'm here with Sergeant Major Brian Marone. Good morning, Sergeant Major.
Good morning. How are you this morning?
I'm very good. Thanks for coming out here so early and joining us. Now, kind of describe to us, paint a picture of what exactly is going to be going on with this memorial walk today.
Okay. Well, this morning what we're going to start with, and back behind us, on where we call it Memorial Field. We'll get together with all the soldiers, and they'll be standing there this morning. They'll bring out their family members and their friends and anybody else from the community that would like to come out. And there'll be a small formation. Major General Kevin O'Connell will come out and give a speech this morning. And then we'll actually move out about just after 6:30. We'll move out. We'll pick up bundles of flags. There's about 10,000 flags, bundles of 25, representing each one of those that have fallen, you know, since September of 2001. And then we'll march down Rodman Avenue. We'll take a small little right here. We'll go down towards the cemetery. We'll walk around the cemetery. We'll have guides out there and markers out there. About 3.25-mile walk. And what that's representing for us is carrying them on our shoulders and letting them know we still haven't forgotten. And then once we finish that, as they come trickling in, you know, there'll be somebody right here at the memorial, and they'll start planting the flags in the ground one by one as each person walks in there, you know, letting them know that we're still here for them, we haven't forgotten, and letting those families know, especially the Gold Star families that'll be with us this morning and this afternoon, that we're here for them and help them get through this.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be a very beautiful, very emotional experience. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now, after this morning's flag planting and the memorial walk, there's also going to be a ceremony later this afternoon that starts at 2 o'clock. At that ceremony, there's going to be a guest speaker as well as a wreath laying and the playing of taps. Reporting live on Rock Island Arsenal, Danielle McCarthy, KWQC TV6 News.